Some people who attend the largest churches are the most lonely people, and you're probably wondering that sounds counterintuitive or sounds illogical, but that's the case because one is tempted to think that the more the people in a church are, the more the connection will be, but that's not the case because there are so many Christians today who are, let me say, lost in the crowd, and they're probably asking questions like, is something wrong with me? Why do other people seem connected and why do I seem invisible? Well, today I want to answer the question, why do I or you seem or feel invisible or lonely in church? Number one, I'm going to say this. Listen, being around people is not the same thing as being known. And that's one area that many of us tend to get it wrong. We think that just because there are so many people around, we sort of like expect people to know us without actually making the effort to be known. You can stand in a crowded room and still feel very unseen. So now, research in social psychology consistently reveals that loneliness is often less about number of people and more about an absence of meaningful relationships or connections. All right, attendance alone does not automatically equal belonging in a church. Many people have this misconception. You believe or you feel like being in a large church, or by large I mean church that has a lot of people, you think it translates to meaningful conversations or connections. That's not always the case. And so based on all I've said so far, you may not need more people in your life, so to speak. You might just need more meaningful connections. All right, seeking to be known and actually getting known by people. That's the first thing I'm going to say. Being around people is not the same thing as being known. Number two, you are not alone. Many people actually feel the exact same way that you are feeling right now. Some people may look confident externally, but internally they are disconnected or feeling disconnected. And that's because you have a plethora of people in church. Many people are shy, some are afraid, right? Some are still healing from past hurt, some are new to the church, and you don't expect everyone who is new to just suddenly become everybody's friend or get to know everyone. While on the other hand, you also have many people who are waiting for somebody else to come and initiate connection. And so if you have a sample of maybe 20 people and all of them are waiting for somebody else to come and initiate conversation or connection, they're all going to wait for a really, 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 really long time. And I'm saying that to let you know that you are not alone. If you are feeling this way in your church, chances are many other people are feeling the same way. So why not be the one to break the ice, if I should say, and actually go and start conversation and get to know and seek to be known. All right. The Bible says that we are one body, and though we are many, so the Bible acknowledges that we are many, and that's obvious. We're many in the body of Christ. So many Christians, so many believers in a church, for instance, so many believers, so many members, yet we are one body, and we must seek to make meaningful connections with people. The third thing I'm going to say is this: familiarity takes time. Familiarity takes time. Real connection grows through repeated contact. The first day you come to a church, for many people, it's not going to be the day that you suddenly will just become everybody's friend or know everybody or everybody will get to know you. That's not how it happens. And so I want to say be patient and give it time. All right. Seeing people once a week briefly may not be enough. This is the reason why for many of you, you might need to take it a notch higher. When you've been in that church for a long time or for a while, join a service unit, be a part of a small group. Know the things that happen communally, in that sense, beyond Sunday to Sunday engagement alone. And like I will always say, small groups are where where more intimate discipleship takes place. In small groups, you get to meet people who are probably staying in your area, have similar interests. You get to know them and you get to be known by them, right? This is something that you will find actually in the early church, and that's part of what was responsible for their very, very healthy connection. Acts 2 and verse 46 says they continued daily. So you see, these guys had a much more frequent structure to their meeting as a church. The Bible said that they continued daily. So they met every day. And while the world might have evolved and we may not be able to achieve that right now, as much as is possible, find out every engagement and touch point that your church has beyond Sunday and get involved. Get into a service unit, join a small group, be a part of communal evangelism and everything our church is doing beyond Sunday service, because shared moments, right, over time is what builds connection. When you begin to have shared experiences and you experience things or stuff together with people, and even serving together with people, it is consistency that builds connection. Number 4, and this one is what I really want to spend a little time speaking about. Sometimes internal barriers create external distance. So you might actually be the problem. Let's not call it a problem. The challenge might be coming from you. All right, let me put it that way. Loneliness is not always about other people. It could just be that you have internally built a wall because of maybe fear of rejection. These are real issues that people face even in church, because of fear of rejection, because of maybe past hurt, because of maybe comparison, or even because, like I said initially, you are probably waiting to be approached first. So it may not be that you're not in a friendly environment, as some are quick to assume. It might just be that you have built walls that unconsciously you give no room for anyone to even get to know you. So these are some of the invisible walls that keep people feeling distant. You probably have been hurt, not necessarily in a church before now, but it could be by people. Maybe you've experienced a lot of friendship betrayals, or you've never really just had a genuine friend, or you grew up in a home or an environment where you never really got to connect with people. And so now suddenly you have moved from maybe being an only or maybe one of 2 children in a very quiet home where there was not a lot of interpersonal communication. Now you're in a church with so many people and you don't know what to do with all of this, right? So it could be an internal barrier that you are experiencing. See what the Bible says in Proverbs 18 and verse 1. It says, a man who isolates himself seeks his own desire. You see that? So make sure you're not isolating yourself. And you might be doing so because of mental models that you have built over time. And while it is true that some churches make it hard for people to connect or integrate, many other times the challenge is not with the church, but with the people trying to achieve integration. And so some things you want to do, you want to ask yourself some honest questions. Number 1, am I protecting myself too much? Have I built walls? Have I built walls that are, keeping people away from me unconsciously? Number 2, am I assuming that people don't care when I have not even given them the chance to care? Right? And I'm going to digress a little bit, because many people, this is the reason why they are single. They don't want anybody else in their space. And everybody who is interested in them, either female or male, and tries to show them genuine care, they find a way to just push them away because they do not want anybody to be in their space, and maybe for genuine reasons. But see, I pray that God heals you, because there are many meaningful relationships that God has ordained to build you and to make you into more of a complete man and woman, not because you are incomplete, but because iron sharpens iron, because we are better together, because the Bible says 2 are better than 1. All right, that was just a healthy digression for somebody who is watching this right now. And you want to ask yourself, am I withdrawing before even trying? Like I said, mental models. All right, ask yourself these questions and identify where exactly the challenge is from, because awareness creates progress. Awareness creates progress. Knowing where you are is pivotal to you, taking the next step to where you need to be. All right. Number 5, I'm going to say this as my last point. The church is a place to build and not just to observe. What do I mean by that? Many people attend church passively. You come to church, you sit down, immediately service is over, you get up and you walk away. And you are wondering why nobody knows you. You see, part of the signs, which we'll look at shortly in one of our episodes under this subtopic of the church life, one of the signs that you are in a healthy church is that beyond the service, beyond the preaching and the praying and the singing, there's a healthy community that's building. In fact, one unspoken sign of a healthy church is that when church service is over, people still hang around for a while, just communicating, talking to each other, catching up on their week. Maybe they're working on something together, or they have similar interests, or just gisting, and you just find people connecting naturally. that is a sign of a healthy church. That's a major sign of a healthy church. And so you want to ask yourself, when the church ends or when you get to church, do you talk to people? Are you making friends? And are you quick to leave church afterwards? This pattern of coming to church, sitting down and quickly leaving the church, it makes deep connection harder to achieve. And so don't forget the title of this teaching. Why do I feel lonely in church? I am telling you why. One of these 5 things I've said applies to you, and you want to find out what exactly it is and know how to address it. Like I said, the church is a place to build and not just to observe. Ephesians 4 and verse 16 says, every part does its share because you have something to contribute. The church is not just a place for consumers. It's a place for people who know that they are builders. Part of what God is doing with the believer is to build together. All right. Even Paul said that we are built together. And now he says that every part does its share. So like I said before, let me just reiterate it again. Number 1, join the service unit. Stay after service and actually have conversations with people. Get to know, connect with the leaders, with your, you might even see maybe an old secondary school or university schoolmate. And even if you don't, get to know people, meet people. And let me say this to you as well. Beyond getting to know people, be the kind of person that is welcoming for somebody else to easily walk up to, because you don't expect a new member who is not a very relational person to just suddenly walk up to you with your boning face, and you're probably squeezing your face and not smiling, and expect that they'll come and say, hello, what's your name? They may not do that because they are new. They may still be apprehensive to some sense, and so create the kind of environment that a new person can walk up to you, get to know you, and ask you questions and speak with you. Now, like I said before, and I'm saying again, attend smaller gatherings. Listen, even in virtual meetings, if your church has maybe virtual prayers, be present, attend. And when you attend and you're praying along, or maybe in Bible studies, comment, like keep the comment section active. Let them see your name. You see, the kind of church that Paul discipled was a church where he would come and he would say, greet Phoebe. He will call people's names because he knew their names, and he knew that when he writes a person's name in a letter, the other members, they know who this person is. So when it says greet so and so person, they know exactly who Paul is talking about. Be the kind of person that is known by the church. All right, not known for the wrong reason, but you are known because you are part of a community. All right, so attend smaller gatherings, be present for evangelism, and every other, post-Sunday events that your church has, all right? And just remain consistent with all of that. When you build with people, you bond with people. When you build with people, you bond with people. And hey, many of you do this in your workplace. When you have a deadline to meet, nobody tells you to go and collaborate with other people in other departments, and suddenly you start making friends. How much more the church, the house of God, the gates of heaven, and the pillar and ground of truth. And so in summary, why do you feel lonely in church? It's not always because there is something wrong with you, even though you need to examine yourself many times to be sure that you have not built mental models and barriers and walls keeping people away from you. But it is often also because, number 1, presence is not the same thing as connection. You can be lost in a crowd. That's number 1. Number 2, others feel lonely too. So don't see yourself as the only person who is feeling lonely in a big church. Many other people are also feeling lonely and probably waiting for you to take the first step. Interestingly, I've had experiences like this in the past where I walk up to someone and they'd be like, they've been waiting for years for me to walk up to them. I'm like, why were you waiting? I'm like, I was waiting too. So would I probably just be waiting for forever? All right. So take the first step sometimes. And if you think you're a shy person, that's one of the ways to actually break shyness. Yes, shyness is it doesn't make you a bad person, but it's something that you need to work on, because purpose and destiny requires boldness. So you will need to work on it. And one thing you can do to work on shyness is to make the first move or take the first step in getting to know people. Just walk up to somebody random and ask them, how are you doing? What's your name? When people see me do this as a pastor every Sunday with random people, they feel like, my pastor is such a relational guy. He knows that he is a people person. Well, I've not always been this way. You can ask any of my siblings that if you ever meet any of them, they will tell you. Growing up, I was the shyest human being you will find. I mean, in a group of 5, I would either not speak or be the last to speak. That's if I ever have to speak. You have no idea. If they're asking questions in class, I will be the last. I will hide on that table to make sure that they don't see me. But that everything has changed right now, and that's because I have taken steps over time. When I knew that my calling, part of my calling was going to involve me speaking to people, I started deliberately planning and preparing for it. So when I see a new person or somebody who I don't know, I'll walk up to them, say hello to them, greet them, speak to them, and just initiate conversation somehow. And the more I did that and even answered questions in class, the bolder I became. You can grow in boldness. You can build boldness. You can become better in boldness. All right. And like I said, others feel lonely too. Relationships take time. Be patient with people and with yourself. Don't just be in a church for 1, 2, 3, 4 Sundays or even 1 month and feel like, in this 1 month, I don't still have many friends. Relax. It takes time. You're not the only one feeling that way, like I said before. So give it time and just be a bit more patient. All right. A bit more patient. Like I said already, again, I'm saying again, internal walls may exist. You want to be sure that you are not dealing with trauma, maybe in your previous church or while growing up as a child or somewhere at some point in your life. You opened up yourself and you were, extremely hurt and you were betrayed or something like that. And now you have built walls. Make sure that that thing is not happening. I'm going to address this in a coming video, not too long from now. All right. And also, passive attendance limits belonging. If you are passive about your attendance in church, you are going to limit how well or how much you integrate into that church family. All right. So don't assume that loneliness is permanent. It is not permanent. It can be worked on, can be built. And if you apply the things that I've shared with you in this teaching, I know and I'm sure and I believe that you are on your way to becoming not an everybody person, but making progress and building healthy relationships and integrating into the community that exists in your church. The church is not just a place you should try, that you attend once in a while. It is a community and a family that you belong to. And healthy families thrive on connection, communication, and communion together. I hope this has helped you. Let me know what stood out for you in the comment section below. Like this video, subscribe if you have not yet done that, and share this video with your friends and family on every platform. And I'll see you in the next one. God bless you.